Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's webinar. Let me just adjust my settings slightly and then we'll just get straight into it. We are recording, and so as usual, the recording will be put together on the YouTube channel. Hopefully you're connecting with those recordings on a weekly basis, or you're able to review them. So that's good. But look, this week, just a few reminders. Just really, so it shouldn't be a particularly long session this week. Just to really remind you about setting objectives, using technology, and really having an aim. If you're going to use anything, if you're going to use technology, if you're going to do anything to do with the business, you should know what you're trying to achieve, so that you know if you get what you want. So if it's been successful or it hasn't, or you just want to measure it, just generally speaking, and keep motivated. As human beings, if we don't have a structure, we have a tendency to either put things off, or not even if we mean to put it off, but just to move it back. And whether it's I won't get up yet, I'll do it a bit later, I'll whatever it is that you think you're going to get done, but you have no real structure. Quite often it doesn't get done, it gets left till the next day. So to have a particular procedure, to have a routine, I found is really important. To get regular exercise and to have that kind of regular routine, get the brain stimulated, and then get to work is really very valuable. So, at this point, what we've chatted about over the past few weeks is really still being active, still adding to your list, which your list will be, whether it's Excel spreadsheet or whatever you use, that's all great. But I'm going to just give you a brief update as to why we use technology and which technology that you should also try and use. Try routine, and I know I've said this before in different videos, but try a routine where maybe every Monday you do most of your sales calls. Every Tuesday you do your contracting or agreements or whatever. So whatever that is that works for you, do it on a weekly basis that way. So every Monday, every Monday I know I've got these webinars to do. I also do some of the sales training meetings. I have a list of things I do, but on a Monday I have a list of things that I don't do. And the reason I have a list of things not to do is because I know Monday's not a particularly good day to do those things. So on a Tuesday, I will do certain things, like I'll send an email campaign out on a Tuesday, because Tuesdays are generally more successful. So why would I try to do campaigns on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday if I know that Tuesday is a good, successful day to do it? So once again, I've got a routine, but I don't want to miss that routine. On a Wednesday, we have another meeting, a sales team meeting. That's good because it's middle of the week and it's a different product to the franchise. So, so all these things are really important to be able to structure yourself in a way that it's accountable and you're not missing anything. But also being that you have a purpose for what you do. So if you do your campaigns, like your calls on Monday, or you might do your calls on a Tuesday because people are a bit more receptive. Keep in mind Monday, especially after the weekend, people then get back into their offices normally, if they're, under normal, conditions that are not as restrictive as we have at the moment. They'll be catching up on emails, they'll be meeting people, they'll be setting themselves. it's a busy day Monday, so maybe Tuesday is a better day for you to do it. Whatever it is. The point is, know why you do it, or know why you don't do it. Diarize it, okay? And we'll talk about technology, and we'll talk about the things that I tend to use on a daily basis. So I just want to show you my technology, I guess, so you have an idea of what I work in and out. And for me, I feel balanced because of the technology and the systems that I have in place. And I feel like I don't miss too much. You know, no one's perfect. If I do miss something or I don't get something done, I generally move it to the next day. So I move it along in my calendar. So I'm going to show you kind of how all that works together. But you've got to know what you want to achieve. You got to know, you know, if you're going to make calls, then why are you calling? Are you calling to win events, or are you just calling to build your contact list? You know, why are you doing what you do? And then when you do what you do, how successful are you being at it? Because if you are not measuring your activity, then how do you know you're just not wasting your time? Are you seeing results from that activity? It's like turning up for these webinars. I hope you get something out of these webinars each week. But if you don't apply it, then it's a waste of an hour of your time. Maybe it's interesting to you. But the whole idea is you take these techniques, or you review the videos and the webinars, and you take it and apply it. So when are you going to apply it? Are you going to apply it tomorrow? Do you apply it on a Thursday? Do you apply it on a Friday? When do you apply it? You know, we can fill ourselves up full of so much information. I mean, there's an endless supply of information out there. YouTube, Facebook, you know, there's courses, there's also, and we can just sit there and consume information and not do anything, not earn any money, not achieve anything, just keep learning but there has to be a reason that you're doing something. And if you have the reason, you have to be accountable to that. So you have to have something that gives you that schedule, or gives you that routine, or gives you that, allows you to measure 1 week against the other and say, look, I was really good that week, I wasn't as good this week, but this is why. And be honest with yourself. You know, honesty is the next really important thing. Did I make enough calls today, or was I having a bit of a lazy day? We all have it. And you'll soon be able to work out that every month you have 5 lazy days, you have 2 lazy days, you have 3 lazy days. So next month, when you have a lazy day, you know, the lazy day is not really lazy. It's just one of those days that you need to clear your head. You are probably better off going for a walk all day rather than sitting at the computer. And I have those days quite a lot, where you just turn around at the end of the day and go, you know what, I was too tired, or I was too worn out, I had too many projects going, or too many balls in the air. I just shouldn't have probably done it. Maybe you weren't organized, maybe you didn't have things in your calendar. Maybe if you did put things in your calendar, you didn't actually follow what was in your calendar, which then you've got to question your effectiveness. Why did I put things in the calendar in the first place when I wasn't going to follow them? So these things are disciplines that we all fight with. No one's perfect. That's why it's called a discipline, you know. But we know we should do it, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's hard to do it. This is where technology comes in and is used as, technology should be to support you, to allow you to do things more effectively, to do things faster. The idea of technology is not to cost you money each week for no reason, like it's a hobby or an interest, or it's a subscription for a sports channel that you just like to watch. That's not the point of subscribing to this technology. We have a purpose, all the different aspects of this technology, which I'll take you through. We have a reason that we use it, because it normally makes us more efficient. We're normally faster at what we do, or it means we can, make sure that tasks are managed efficiently, saving us time and just meaning we can spend our valuable time on the things that need our input or need something practical from us. Calendars are a very good thing to use. I call this technology, but actually it's just a 120-page book. I've got loads of them around. Each day, I put the date at the top and I write my notes on it. Things I'm going to do today, things I'm going to achieve, excuse me, ideas, things like that I want to achieve. Every day has a date. And the reason I use technology as well, because it gives me that physical element that I need to write things down, because relying on everything computerized or electronic can be difficult for some people. And it's out of mind. So if I don't want to look at the screen anymore, if I've had enough, I've got a list right here in my book that I can glance at and look right through, like notes from meetings I had just before. They're just that. They're not too extensive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 lines on a page, but it jogs memories, or each day it sends me back to look at my calendar, or I put little reminders, things that I've worked out that maybe I'm weaker in and I need some reminders, or maybe I just like to be organized. Maybe I like to look back and see what's there. And, so for me, that's part of my technology, always having that. And I've done that for years. I've got books that are filled up, and I always keep them, and I keep them stacked up. I don't look at them very often. Sometimes I write passwords in them, or I write, whatever it is. It's just handy if you've got that sort of system to do. Okay. So on a daily basis, what I do is I have my emails. Okay. So, and I know, Tessa, you are one that have a certain way you want it to work things. That's great. That's absolutely fine. Whatever works for you. And I know we discussed Gmail. One of the reasons I use Gmail, and you keep a book on the left-hand side of the page is personal stuff, and on the right, that's a good way to do it. So on the left-hand side is personal, on the right-hand side is business stuff. That's great. I tend to put my personal stuff in a box. I draw boxes everywhere and keep that. And I also use highlighters a lot, because that can really draw your attention to certain things. I know other people, like my partner, she uses colors. She's a teacher, and she uses colors for each year that she teaches. So instantly there is a visual of what class is coming up, or what's needed to be done. But colors are great as that instant, what needs to be done right now, without even having to read anything, which is good. And Vanessa, you use colors for different topics that we handle. And I'll show people a small example of that from Agile as well. But let me just go through and give you a practical example of why I use Google. Now, I used to love using Mac Mail, and I didn't like Gmail at all. I still don't particularly like it. I don't like the way it puts everything under subject heading necessarily. I like screens, so I can there is a way I can do it. I can put a visual panel on the right hand side if I want to. So if I'm reading a particular message, I can do it there. Sometimes I like to look at the whole screen, so I just let it go and I go into each mail. But the idea is you can create on the left hand side here folders, or filters using Gmail, which are really, really handy. So if I want to know what new franchise leads have come in, it goes there onto the left-hand side. It goes in and it filters out. So I've got everything there that I need. So it's a different way of working that I've got that I used to use on MacMail, and it took me a little while to get used to it. But the advantage of it was also things like this, that it's tied in together with things. So I can use the calendar. So I flick open the calendar, which I actually already had open, but I've got my calendar where I'm writing tasks in, personal stuff and also business things. So that's all basically on the screen, all set for what I need. And that's all part of Gmail. And quite often with Gmail, when you've got an event happening, it will automatically put it into the calendar or remind you. So I've got these little triggers by using the same thing. With Gmail, we can use Drive, meeting things, YouTube's there. Obviously, I use YouTube a lot. We've got Hangouts, which we've used a few times now. But we don't probably use it enough. Like we use Dropbox. Instead of Dropbox, we really probably should be using Drive and Docs, because that would be more compatible. But we actually started the Dropbox system before we started on this. So there's so much data, it's very difficult to migrate that across. But for you guys running your own businesses to run Dropbox is one thing. We want you to work out of that. But if you want to, if it's easier for you to use your system using Docs and Sheets and Drive, then use that because it's all in one place. The other really good thing with this is that because it's all logged in already, you can actually add your analytics. I know that's something you're not using a lot at the moment because when we don't have a lot of events running, but with analytics login, it's all part of Gmail, and it should keep you logged in. I'll just load this so you can see it. Hopefully you're still getting that. It's still loading. It's a bit slow loading. Here we go. So on your analytics, performance suggestions, that's all I want. Okay, so it shows you kind of how many users, where the traffic's coming from, but obviously you drill that down to your particular pages. So here's an example of one that we had a couple of years ago. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we'll load it in, and then you've got all your analytics. So, using this, what it does is clearly what I'm trying to achieve by doing this is having a really good inbox system which maps, because anything I have to deal with as far as messages, and it could be paying bills, it could be going back to agents, whatever, it's a very quick step to schedule something or send a reminder out in my calendar. And also, as part of this, having technology on hand, nothing is too far away, so it makes me far more efficient. With analytics, the whole idea with running the analytics, and this is an old event, so I don't have a lot, but it'll be seeing what the performance is like, how many click-throughs are coming from a particular event to the PBA. And that way I can quickly make decisions or have conversations with the event organizer as to how effective the campaign is. So I'm not having to guess. I'm not wasting weeks at a time. Within a couple of days of the event organizer actually, putting the link on their website and sending an email out to their database, I can see instantly if it's working or not. If the clicks are coming through and no bookings are happening, then maybe there's something wrong with my PBA. Like maybe the rates aren't competitive enough. Maybe my messaging's not very good. Maybe I haven't got enough 4-star hotels on and I've only got 2-star hotels on. And I'll be able to see that because they'll go to the 2-star page and leave, or, and then we can discuss it. So these are things that help you be more efficient every day. But in your calendar, you can actually write down what jobs you need to do every day. So on a Monday, I do my sales calls. On a Tuesday, I do my analytics. On a Wednesday, I'm doing, talking with hotels. I'm doing an email campaign. And then repeat every week. Try and stick to that at the very least, so that you know that you have some sort of system running. And then analyze it. So if it's not enough, or you're finding that you're not getting enough response, then at least you're analyzing it. Use your pad. You're analyzing it to see what's not working. So you're not drifting off into the abyss and becoming really uninterested because it's not working. You're working on ways of making it work, and you're gauging your response. And by doing that, but once again, we go back to the start of the conversation, you've got to know what your aim is. What is my aim this week? So on a Monday, you could even write in the calendar your aims. What are my aims? My aims are to make 50 calls to events, to add 200 names to my database and send emails out, to add some more hotels onto the page, or whatever it is that you want to achieve. Make sure you set up a task. The way some people work, and this is why going onto YouTube and going onto LinkedIn, getting inspiration from different people, some people just pick a word of the week. So this week's word is efficiency. Next week's word is sales. The week after, we might pick a word like conversation. So each week, what it does, it focuses you on specific things that you want to achieve, or keywords that you're going to remind you to be more effective. So I'm going to have more conversations this week. So this week is all about picking the phone up, doing less emails and doing more voice calls. But don't just leave it at that. Gauge the response. And once you find your formula, you might decide every week's going to be exactly that. So it could be a way of just testing new things as you go along, but keeping your core functions going at the same time. And then, looking at how you can develop that. Now, just going back, this is a little snippet from, actually, this is a bit of everything. So this is a few people's different ways of viewing the CRM and Agile. See, it's very much color-coded, lots of appointments, lots of times of the day in a calendar format. And this is on the CRM. So I've been over the CRM side of things before, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour. So the CRM effectively is where you keep your contacts. So the idea of using technology, and yes, there are extra expenses and all that sort of thing that goes in with that, but you've got to weigh it up against what you're trying to achieve. The idea of this business is not to save money. The idea of having any business is to make money, and you're always going to have a cost of business. There's always going to be a cost for you to function more effectively. If you don't use a CRM, cost is your time. Okay, it may not be your money, but it is your time. Okay, so what's more important to you? You're not going to get wealthy by swapping your time for money. That's an hourly wage or a job. Okay, that's what we do in a job. We earn $25 an hour, $35 an hour, whatever it is. You are swapping your time for money. That's not how you get wealthy. It's not how you get financially independent necessarily. There are occasions where some salaries and so on can be very, very good, and you can do that. But what happens is, with a business, which is all why you've come here, because you all wanted to run your own business, setting up these tools and systems mean that you're not swapping your time for money. So you're recognizing and understanding there is a cost. What is the cost? The cost is $50 a month. $100 a month, $500 a month, whatever it is that you need to pay for, that's the cost. On top of your hotel's TV cost, on top of your house rent or your house whatever it is that you do, you know your overheads. That's what it costs. This is what I need to earn, and this is what I need to achieve. This is how many calls I need to make this week to achieve this result. So if I do that many calls and achieve this result, and I want to earn more money, then I need to do more of it. Do I keep doing that manually myself, or maybe I consider hiring people, and therefore I need to increase or upgrade the CRM that I'm using, because I'm going to increase my costs by 20%, but I know it's going to give me 5 times that return on my investment. So that's how you keep growing and growing your businesses. But you really, in this day and age, need to use technology to help you do that. Otherwise, you're just not growing. It's just not possible to still grow without using these tools and these technologies to help us. What we're doing is just exhausting ourselves. And what we happen, once you've got the rhythm going, you'll find that what comes with that is often a lifestyle. So the times you can take off and enjoy your family or enjoy your pastimes or the things you want, and you know that your machine runs, and you can start to then decide which parts of the machine I can improve in order to have more free time. Okay. Or you might have an employee come to you, or a partner in the business, and that means you earn less, but you get more time. So it depends what you want. So it's really important that you have an understanding, of what your aim is, what you want, how you measure it, how you motivate yourself. Really, what are your objectives with the business? Are you just scattergun approach and you see what happens? Well, as they say, if if you're not making any plans, you don't know what you want to achieve. You don't know when you achieve it. You don't know when you've got it. So it's kind of an endless, like a dog chasing its tail type thing. At least you can set your goals up for the week, achieve them, and then reward yourself, which that reward might be taking Friday off, whatever that means to you. But it's one of those things, is having your own business means that you have to get better at being more organized. You have to get better at being disciplined. You have to get better at working from home. You have to get better at using Gmail or technology. And if you don't, or if you can't use certain technologies, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It means that you just need to go through a bit more of a learning curve. YouTube, and I'm going to bring up YouTube now. YouTube is one of my technologies. Now, it's not an obvious technology, because, using the CRM and adding someone's name and writing conversations about, how many times we spoke today, or what the details are, or, setting tasks to call them back, and looking up their profile on Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever it is. That technology helps you do that really, really fast, quickly, and efficiently, so it's certainly absolutely well worth it. But the things you don't know are what is really important, like Facebook ads, increase engagement. Okay, so if I'm going to run campaigns, quite often I'll go on here and see what's new. And I'll educate myself. I'm constantly educating myself in the areas that I'm working in. And I'm constantly doing that to have much better understanding, so I can develop the tools to make myself more efficient in those areas. Quite often I'm a certain person that I have to do something before I can instruct other people to do it. So I have to learn it. I have to do it. I have to practice it. I have to show myself it works and then I can train it. And then once I've trained it and I've got other people doing it, I don't have to do that as much. So it's setting up those things. But I think it's always a good idea for you to learn it and do it first before you then start to train someone else to do it. Or what you might then do is go and get another piece of technology to help you cope with that once you've learned it. So it's endless. It's endless because we're constantly learning and then applying new technology to fix the problem we have or the stress point or to alleviate pressure or to make us more money or to give us more time or whatever it is. So I'm constantly rotating between answering my emails, setting my tasks, and keeping my clients in a position where note-taking and setting up email campaigns. I'm also educating myself how to be more efficient at doing that. And then I'm linking to other technology to help me do that. And then quite a lot of what you'll see out there in the internet is that there is technology now that links all these things together. So now we've with 3 or 4 different types of platforms, but actually if you go into the back end of Agile, which is the CRM that we use, customer relationship management tool, they have something called widgets. Now, this is one technology, Agile, but they allow in the back end of your technology the ability for you to connect to other technologies seamlessly. So if I want to add Skype, I just click it and I put in my password. And now every time I'm on a client's page, like just to give you an idea, we've just added Twilio, still having a few issues with getting it started. But the whole methodology behind this is that when you go into a client's details, you have a telephony system. So let's, I don't know why everything's blue. Okay. So you see we're in Hitesh Madhwani's profile. Over to the right-hand side, Twilio's come up because we've just added it in as another technology. So we could have it on another tab. It could be another product, completely standalone. But Agile have said, no, we're going to improve our technology. We're going to make things even more seamless. So here is the phone number of the client that I want to call. Now, sometimes usually I'd have to pick my phone up and I'd dial the numbers into my either WhatsApp, or I'd dial it into my number and I'd get a call package on there and I'd do it all off my phone and I'd connect my headsets up and all that. It works. I've done it for a long time. It suits what I do, but it's not as efficient as it could be. Now, what efficiency is that everything's already here in this platform, and all I have to do is either make a call or send an SMS directly from the CRM. And away it goes. Now, I believe I can actually do that. So it's actually calling this person now. I will cancel the call. Well, I think I can cancel the call. I'm not even sure if I can cancel the call. Well, like I said, it's not working particularly perfectly. We're still trying to work on it, but or we can text message. So we can, maybe it's a text message. No, it's not coming up at all. It was coming up on the other side, I think. No, it seems to have jammed. Great. That's a great example of technology for you. Sometimes it does go wrong. Sometimes it jams, but sometimes it needs refreshing. But on the whole, once it's working, it revolutionizes you. I mean, the things that I've been able to use, the time I save now, might be an internet connection. So the time I save now by using this technology is quite amazing. Just on the email campaigns, I used to send out emails to about 10,000 people that had been interested in buying franchises over time. And I would use a third-party product to do it. You'd never, you wouldn't be allowed to send out. You'd get shut down by Gmail or whichever internet service provider you use. So we always had to use a system. But over the years, they got better and better. And then they combined it in the middle with CRM. So not only could you do your email campaigns, like we'll do it for hotels and events and so on, but you also have all your contacts already imported into your CRM. So everything revolves around that CRM. The other thing I was going to just show you to finish off is something I think we touched on last week. I've been doing with the sales team anyway. It's to actually use what's called Sales Navigator. So LinkedIn is the number one business social networking website in the world. It is basically a business card for each person. It's got exactly what they've done. It's also it's a hiring website, so it's a recruitment website. So lots of people put all their history on there, what they're good at, what they've done, with the view that when they end their job, they can then go to the next job or use it as a resume almost as well. So we connect all these people. I'm sure you all have LinkedIn accounts, and if not, you certainly should. But LinkedIn has something called Sales Navigator, and it's not cheap. It's about $80, $90 a month. I think you get your first month free. There might be other slight versions of this, but the beauty about it is the lists that you can make. So let's say, for example, we go to Discover. Okay, so let's look at it from, we want to find event organizers to contact. So we know that, yes, we could go through Google and we could type in events, as we normally do, and that's all fine. So Google to us is another technology. So keep that in mind. We go into Google, we find events. But what this does, this will allow you to find events. It'll also allow you to find hotels. So if you want to find hotels in London, or you want to find hotels in your city, you can then use the Discover mode to get hold and get in touch with the sales departments of a hotel, maybe the sales and marketing managers or whoever. So what you do is you go through keywords. So you might add a keyword as hotel. And then you might add some filters like, so you want to make a list. If you want to designate the company, you might just want to, it might be Hilton's around the world or Accor or Marriott's that you want to find. So you can narrow it down to the industry, hospitality, leisure and travel, so you see on the right-hand side, we're starting to link hotels up that are starting to come around here. And you can save this. You can select this list and you can save it as a list that you want to work through. You can connect to them. You can send messages to them. You can view their profile. You can find out who else in your network also shares the same contacts, so you've got something in common. It is a great, great tool. Yes, it costs quite a lot of money. It's another $70, $80. So all of a sudden, you think you're up to $200, $300, $400 a month. But to be honest, if you're out working aggressively with a target and a goal in mind, $300 or $400 a month to run your business is nothing. Okay, but once again, you have to make sure you know what you're going to achieve. So I want to do 5 events this month. I want to do 10 events this month. Great. Okay, anything's possible. So how are you going to get there? What's your roadmap to actually get there? How many calls do you need to make? How many event organizers? So let's say event organizer. Okay, event planner, event coordinator, event manager. Okay, so let's say event manager. Hospitality, venues, business management, Ole and Steen, it's hotels, leisure and group, City concierge. So you can drill them down by just using these functions and filters, but you kind of get the idea. So, so you'll be able to find event organizers. So we're going to planners, maybe. Maybe we take out hospitality. Head of events at the Lanesborough. So you get the head of events person, director of sales at Intercontinental. That's because we've got hospitality in there. So these are, these are the M&E operators, sales. So what you can then do is go through and see that this person is someone that you should be connected to. They're in the right property that you want to know. You go over to send a message, or you can actually connect to them. Okay, so I just want to connect and send an invitation, and now hopefully they become part of my network. And through this, you can actually do in-mails as well. I'm not trying to sell you Sales Navigator in LinkedIn. I'm just trying to show you that there are technologies out there, whether it's LinkedIn, which is probably the best, but there are others that if you know what you're trying to achieve, once again, you go and educate yourself. Half of the technology I use came through multiple recommendations from oh, sorry if you dropped out before. I'm just reading some of the comments. So half of the technology, or most of the technology I use is on recommendation, but whose recommendation? It basically comes out of watching these helpful videos, and not all of them are helpful, but most of them are. And you can soon see by the number of views these people have had, 90,000, 100,000, 1 million views, whatever it is, and by listening to them, and then they go and suggest, 2 or 3 of them suggest the same sort of technology that you should use. I then go and look the technology up and see if it's suitable, see if it's going to do what I want. Quite often there's a trial. I'll trial it. If it saves me time, if it looks like a good opportunity, then I'll subscribe to it. And then that's how Sales Navigator came around. And that's how I was able to, be more successful at pinpointing the clients that I wanted to contact. Or even for me, it's a bit of a PR message as well. Sometimes it's about not being as obvious as trying to sell everyone everything. Okay. Quite often it's about conveying a message. So if I'm on LinkedIn and I start to post things about, like I'm posting things about video and video production and about keeping hotels visible and all that. So that's great if it works and instantly comes back. But what I'm doing is I'm also positioning myself as an authority in that video space by creating posts and content so that if a hotel comes onto my LinkedIn profile, they'll see that we deal in hotels and we deal in bookings, we deal in groups and events, and we deal in video, and we have broadcasting. So there's plenty of examples of what I'm doing, but at the same time, I'm giving myself the opportunity to be contacted in a sales capacity by doing that. So having these profiles on LinkedIn and using technology to make it easier, gives you the complete sphere of what you need. I think something stopped working. If you can't see anything, just drop me a little note down there. But that's all really I wanted to show you from this particular session is the main technology that I use. So it's Gmail. It's the calendar on Gmail, and it's a CRM. Now, give you an idea, one of the other reasons that I use Gmail, because Hotels TV actually has their own email server, but we don't use it anymore, because it is far more effective on your mobile phone. Okay, the apps and the technology that transfers from your desktop to your mobile is brilliant. So I couldn't do this. Hotels TV would have to spend too much on technology to do the things we do. We pay for your connection to Gmail. We pay for that. That's part of your subscription. But we do that because of everything that it offers, everything that it hosts from an email capacity. And we still get to use the Hotels TV domain name rather than just use a Gmail domain name. So it's corporately a lot more effective. But there's so many other advantages. But it's because it also goes onto my phone. So I know on my phone, I can go into my calendars, and my calendar is completely synchronized with what you've just seen there. I know I can go into my Gmail account, and my Gmail account not only has all the same emails, but it's got all the same sent box as well. So if I need to find something, it's already in the sent box, but I can do that on the go. So everything, the reason I've got a big mobile phone and I've got the Plus, and I guess I should talk about technology on a phone basis. One of the reasons I have the 6S, it's not 6, it's the 10S Plus or whatever it is, XS Plus, is because I work on it. It's because if I'm not near my computer and I don't have if I'm traveling, I can work almost as effectively off that as I can off anything else. I also use the camera a lot because I take photos of pages of notes that I'm writing down. So if I have to travel and I don't want to take everything, I take photos of whiteboards. I've always got a whiteboard around me. I take photos of the whiteboard. Whatever you do, it's all there on the phone, so I can flick back and look. So this is part of my technology as well. So when you surround yourself with all this, I've just learned a whole new technology around the video side of things. But there are very easy guides to do, I should say. So when you surround yourself with this technology, it becomes part of your life. It is part of your overhead, like paying your rent or leasing your car or subscribing to Netflix or whatever. Once you accept that this is the way you do it, you will not go back. You will not do things manually again because you will feel disconnected. You'll be so much more efficient, but you just need 4 or 5 pieces of technology around you that knit together to suit what you're doing. And if it's not that suits me, but there are billions of other technology providers out there with lots of different solutions. Calendar systems, I mean, Agile has that. Agile kind of does everything. It's the bit of a Swiss Army knife for CRMs. But it's just really worth doing. But it's all useless, again, if you've got nothing to aim at. And the cost will seem prohibitive, okay, if you have nothing to aim at. So if you've got a financial goal and you've got a calls goal and everything else, then what you need to do is put those things into play so that the cost of this technology is minute, 10% of your income or 8% or 5% of your income. But that's what helps you get that income and be more efficient. So that's it really for today. I hope you found that useful in some way. If you have any topics, again, that you would like to discuss, please email them through to support@hotels.tv, and we'll be happy to cover that in future sessions as well. So that's support@hotels.tv. So that's it. Once again, thank you so much for joining us for this week. If there are any last-minute questions, I will waffle for the next minute or two, just to give you time to kind of slot it in. But otherwise, you know that we can, we can connect via support@hotels.tv with anything you need. Contact us via WhatsApp and just remain busy. Keep busy connecting events, keep busy building your lists, but really work on your aim, your objective, your measurement of that. Be hard on yourself as well to make sure that, you know, you're not forgiving yourself too easily, and therefore you're going to fall into bad habits. You know better than anyone what you are stronger and weaker in, and where your temptation lays. So make sure you put the things in place to help you do that. Some people are weak in sales, yet they want to own their own business. That's fine. It's not a problem. Know what you're good at and know what you're not good at. If you're not very good in sales, then do some training in sales, or find someone to work with you who is good in sales. So you do the reservations and the hotel connections, and they do the selling part. Okay. So just really know what you're good at. Try and learn it yourself. If you can't, there are other ways of doing it. Anyway, that's all from me. Thanks very much, and see you next week. Be safe.